Okay, real talk. Right now, I'm studying molecular and cellular biology, economics, psychology, and I'm also a painter. To a lot of people, especially someone from a high expectation immigrant background, that just sounds wrong. Alinu, you're scattered. You need to focus. Just pick one thing. But here's the thing. There is actually a word for people like us, and it's called a polymath. Is someone who learns deeply in multiple fields and connects them. Poly means many, math means learn. So it's not just about I like 10 hobbies. It's about using different fields together to see the world in an entirely unique way that other people cannot see. And if you have ADHD, your brain is already wired for it. We just get shamed for it instead of training it. Today, we're taking the diagnosis that you are too all over the place and turn it into a prescription for becoming an ADHD polymath. Since you're younger, in school, university, and later down the line in med school and grad school, the message is always specialize. Be the MCB girl. Be the econ guy. Pick your lane, stay for it for the next 40 years till you retire. But that advice works if your brain likes repetition and routine. But with an ADHD brain, forcing yourself to share the same kind of problem all day, every day, is like slowly turning your brain's brightness. Last year, my first year in college, I tried it. I did what the advisors told me. I don't know, just focus on the MCB, econ, cut business, and don't overload yourself. So I dropped everything. I went all in on the science. But by week 4, I was already out. Not because MB was too hard, but because there was no variety, no color, no story, just one narrow corridor of my brain being used. So when I let myself be more of a polymath, everything actually got easier. MCB gave me the biology, economics gave me the analytical skills, psychology gave me the human behavior, and painting lets my nervous system calm down and process all of the other things I'm exploring. Instead of feeling like I'm living 4 completely different lives, they talk to each other. I think about how economics pressure affects mental health. I think about how art could represent complex ideas of biology. Those connections are where polymaths live. So the goal isn't to do everything. It's to use your ADHD curiosity as a feature and not a bug, and learn to direct it. We have to remember something really important though. You cannot do everything. Even polymaths have to choose. So instead of letting your brain go wild and start 12 new hobbies and have 25 unfinished projects, I keep what I call my polymath portfolio in my journal. I use a filter that really works with ADHD, and it's a method we talked about. That is the INCUP method. Interest, novelty, challenge, urgency, passion. When a new obsession shows up, for example, like should I learn coding? Should I learn a new language? Should I start poetry? Like, why not? I run it through INCUP. First of all, is it genuinely interesting to me? Or am I do it just to impress people? Second thing is it novel? Is it new? Is it something fresh for my brain? Number 3, is there a real challenge to me doing this so I do not get bored in like 2 days? Number 4, is there urgency? Does this really help with where I am right now in life? For example, I'm starting learning Spanish, and you can see how it could fit the other categories. And lastly, passion. Do I feel a spark when I actually talk about it or think about it? If it at least hits 3 of these, I allow it to be in my portfolio for this season. Right now, my portfolio, for example, looks like MCB, econ, psychology, painting, and Spanish. That gives me 3 heavily intellectual lanes, 1 human behavior lane, and 1 creative sensory calm lane. Hobby seasons are essentially seasons where you rotate hobbies. So for example, I want to do figure skating, but it doesn't fit my season right now, so I just push it till the next season. You do not have to do every interest that you have in 1 month or in every month. Some things can be for later season. That is powerful for people with ADHD because it keeps us sane and it tells us we're not killing, we're just parking it for a different time. And that alone removes so much guilt. that keeps us paralyzed. The next part is about how to learn, not just what to learn. And this is where a lot of ADHD students and people get stuck. We get obsessed with doing it perfectly. We watch 10 videos about how to study or how to do this or how to do that. We buy fancy pens and fancy equipment. Then we never stop. Then we never start. So here's my rule. Do it badly. We need to not get lost in the tool. We need to apply what we learned as soon as possible and repeat it again and again. We have to speedrun failure. Want to become a master. So what am I saying? Give yourself permission to be embarrassingly bad. At first, when I started painting, my canvases were shit. Like, let's be honest, they were bad. They were like honestly tragic. When I started economics, I didn't know what derivatives were, and I hate calculus. I genuinely hate calculus, but I'm an economist. Ironic, isn't it? But the act of touching the paint or writing first bad draft teaches your brain way more than just consuming tutorials. Practically, this looks like step 1, get a rough outline. 1 chapter, 1 long video, 1 article, 1 homework. Nothing fancy, something basic. Step 2, write messy notes in your journal or on a piece of paper or in your computer. It doesn't matter. Don't make them aesthetic, just make them honest and just like literally vomit, word vomit, literally. And then we have step 3, immediately do a tiny action. You have one small problem, do it. You have a paragraph, do it. A 10-minute sketch, do it. That tiny action closes the gap between I know about this and I am doing this. And for an ADHD brain, closing that gap faster is everything. So how do we build a system so our polymath is sustainable for long term? If you tried time blocking with ADHD, you would have figured out that it doesn't work. Like if you have 2 to 3 p.m. study MCB, 3 to 4 p.m. study econ, and literally just by 2:10 your brain is already rebelling. It's like, no thank you, goodbye. So I take this system idea and translate it into something more ADHD friendly. Energy blocking. I've talked about this multiple times before because of how important it is. Instead of asking what time it is, I am asking what is my energy right now. For me, I have high focus blocks, usually late morning or very late at night when my meds are working or when I'm home alone and it's quiet. This is where I study my heavy subjects, my MCB and econ. And then we have the medium social blocks, I would say. Here it's great for readings and for discussions and watching lectures, something that is more passive but you're still learning something. And then have low energy, overstimulated blocks. This is where most people doom scroll. I use this now for painting, low note reviewing, or just super light learning. Doesn't have to be something complicated. And I think to keep top novel and more interesting, I would say give every week a theme or every day a theme, depending on how not busy you are. So you're not just like switching context with like every 5 minutes. Like imagine jumping from econ to MCB to psychology in like an hour. That will drive you crazy. So what do you have to do? You have to be able to combine the idea of giving yourself a theme for the week or the day and combine it with energy blocking. For example, we're gonna say Monday is MCB plus painting. Tuesday is econ plus psych. Wednesday we're gonna say it's admin and just replying to email. This way we still honor our polymath life, but your ADHD brain is not trying to jiggle 25 hobbies in one afternoon. And I do all of this in a dim, calm environment, which is essentially just destimulating yourself, lowering your noise and visual clutter so my nervous system isn't already maxed out before I start. My favorite part is picking and finding a project, because learning 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 29 different things is beautiful. It's amazing. But a project is actually when all of this collides and actually turns into something. For me, a project could be creating a new vine that explains an MCB concept, using psychology and painting diagrams myself, or doing a mini research journal about how social media affects attention and econ incentives and psychology and neurobiology. For you, it might be that I'm building a small app or writing blog or starting a stupid YouTube channel, or for example running a tiny experiment. It doesn't have to be big Trust me, it doesn't have to be big. It just needs to focus your different interests talk to each other. You just need to focus your different interests to talk to each other. So here's the prescription for my week and your guys' week ahead. Open a blank page and write down your current portfolio. 3 or 5 things that you're really genuinely passionate about. Run each of them through the INCUP method. If something doesn't hit at least 3, leave it out of the season. Pick one tiny project where at least 2 of the subjects that you picked meet. Nothing perfect, nothing huge, just something you're willing to do badly. And if one of your interests is reading, you're invited to our little pair reading club. We read slowly with our ADHD brain and do not pretend like we are perfect. You are not too much for wanting many things. Your brain is just built like a browser with hundreds of tabs open, and that's okay. We are just learning how to arrange and rearrange the tabs so the system doesn't crash. But let me remind you, it's not always going to be perfect. You will fail sometimes. I fail all the time, and it's a struggle, but we all know that it's always going to be a struggle. So when you persevere and you do not blame yourself, you can make all the difference in the world. You can actually make a really huge impact. You can actually become a polymath or try to learn something new, and that's okay. Thank you so much for listening to my video today. I hope you really enjoyed it. If you did, you can watch my last video on Satchur's ideas, how we can understand our brains more using his ideas. Again, I hope you really enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, subscribe, and share, and I hope you learned something today. And that's all. See you later. Bye bye.